Welcome back to another edition of NCSA Live. I'm Carrie Brown and I'm here with college coaching veteran Bob Kamel. And tonight we're going to be talking about a parent's role in the recruiting process. Oftentimes it's hard for parents to separate out the experience from their own experience and their kids' experience. You've probably, as a parent, been dreaming about the date that your child is going to get recruited since their first time they laced up their cleats or hit a ball. So, Coach, how does a parent assist in the process without being too hands-on?
Well, before we get started, one of the things parents have to understand, your student athlete, the significant person a young person in your life, has to want this more than you do. If you want it more than they do, there can be really a bad message that could go out there. And from the other standpoint, for whatever reason, this analogy came to me while we were in San Antonio this week at the Army All-American Bowl. In a lot of ways, getting your son or daughter involved in the recruiting process is like teaching someone how to swim. The worst thing you can do is just take them and throw them in the water, okay? What you want to do is you're going to hold them up a little bit, going to balance them, they're going to take a stroke here, take a stroke there, kick their feet a little bit, and then all of a sudden you're going to put your hands down a little farther, and then they're going to be on their way. And that's the analogy I created. What I mean by that is this. Initially, in the recruiting process, parents, because of their adult experiences, should be involved in the process and should continue to do an analysis or an evaluation as to where their son or daughter is in the process. And the more confident that that family is in that young person representing themselves, then the more autonomy you give them with the coaches. Now, going back to our original premise of this question, there's a term that I've used here at NCSA for a long, long time, and I call it a wee dad, or in some cases a wee mom. Whereas a college coach, I'd be talking to a family about their young person in their life, about the recruiting process, and everything. We are going to visit the University of Iowa. We are going to visit North Central College. We are going to visit Illinois Benedictine. Well, that's all fine and dandy, but the message that I get from that is that the parent is overbearing within the process. The young person has to have the motivation and has to communicate that motivation to the parent that, yes, I want to do this. And so what I mean by that is there comes that point in time where it's the handoff, if you will, where the young individual steps forward and actually handles the situation on their own. Don't be a wee dad, don't be a wee mom. If your son's name or your daughter, say your daughter's name is Mary. Mary's very interested in visiting South Florida. Mary's very interested in visiting Northern Illinois. John is very interested in visiting Iowa. Make sure that the college coach understands that the motivation comes from the individual and not from the parent. And the other thing is, so many facets of this. I mean, Carrie, we could do 2 hours on this. Understand that college coaches, this is actually, it's a vocation, but it's also a job. And they are going to be very realistic with you, and you need to be very realistic with them. In any relationship, regardless of what it is, there's a term called trust. Any good relationship is based upon trust. You, because of your adult experiences, have to have an idea of the coach that you're dealing with and the feeling that you have about that coach and about that relationship, and convey that to your son or daughter. And if it's great, let them know, I really think this coach has your best interest in mind. And if it's not, let the student athlete, the parents, let the student athlete know, this might not be the best match for us.
Yeah, something we say here again besides the wee dad is the helicopter parent. Don't hover. Don't be over your child every step of the way. It's important. They still are teenagers, but they need to be reminded, maybe we should stay on top of this. Maybe we should set academic goals. How about you write back to that coach? Because oftentimes teenagers have a million different distractions, and, it's not always thinking about their future. It's kind of thinking about what's going to happen tonight. So it's important to guide. Don't be a helicopter parent. I always say this when I was a coach for some club girls. Same situation. Parents always coming to me, why is my daughter not playing? Why is my daughter not being recruited? Why this? Why that? And I would always tell them, I want to hear from your daughter first. I want to hear what they have to say, what they're feeling, not what you're feeling. Not that I didn't value the parent's opinion, but it's even though these girls were 15, 16, 17 years old, it's important for them to grow in the process and learn. And the recruiting process is a great tool to become your own individual person, away from your parents, be responsible, and learn what the real world is going to be like. Some golden rules for parents that we say here is never write to a coach, never email a coach as yourself, never email a coach as a student athlete. Never pick up the phone and talk the coach's ear off. Let the student athlete do that. Let the student athlete answer the questions. You can guide them, make sure everything's spelled correctly, but never take control of the process from them.
Excellent, excellent, excellent points. And I've actually become very aware of a situation this past year during the football recruiting process where college coaches, and I knew the young man and the family, actually backed off recruiting a particular young man because of an overbearing father. And in all candor, if you live in Chicago and you're a problem with a college coach and that coach is in DeKalb, you're going to be a problem in DeKalb. If you're a problem in Chicago and you want your son or daughter to go to school at Illinois, you're going to be a problem in Champaign. And college coaches don't want anything to do with it. You have to find that median, if you will, where it goes from cooperation and communication without, as the term you use, being a helicopter parent.
Yeah, also, Coach Kimley, maybe you could go a little bit further into when you're on an official visit, oftentimes parents, even unofficial, oftentimes parents will join the student athlete, which is more than okay. But what is the proper protocol as the parent in that situation?
Well, you are actually there not to foster your son or daughter at that point in time, because if you're already on the visit, those coaches are interested. You are there to accompany your son or daughter, and you are there basically almost as an interpreter, an adult interpreter, if you will, of the information that you garnered. And then when you come home with your student athlete, sit down and talk about all the things you heard academically, athletically, your position coach, the amount of playing time you'll get, the opportunities after college from a job standpoint and things like that. But when you're sitting there and a coach asks your son or daughter a question, let them answer the question. I've been in situations where I've had a parent and a student athlete in front of me, and I asked the student athlete a question, and the parent answered all the questions. I want to know that your son or daughter has a certain amount of independence as they start to matriculate to my particular institution.
Yeah, the coaches definitely want to know that you are an adult and that you will not need the coach's hand to guide you through college like you would need your parents' hand to guide you through college. So parents, make sure that you are involved in the process. Lend a gentle guiding hand, but don't let it become overbearing, because it's a time in their life. They're about to leave your home. They're about to go on their own, and they need to be mature, be adults, and learn how to handle processes and situations without you.
I like that term, kind, gentle hand. What did you say?
A light guiding hand.
Light guiding hand. Excellent.
Yeah.
I'll keep that one.
Parents, if you have any more questions about the recruiting process or anything else, you can visit our website at ncsasports.org or call us at 866-577-6272. Thanks, and have a good night.